First of all, thank you to Go Public Schools for hosting this forum. And, you know, it's now about 8 months ago when I started the job and, in fact, got handed a declaration of community beliefs and visions for Oakland Public Schools, and was standing at the podium a little bit further up. You were a little more intimate with some questions about this. And I think that, excuse me, where I was then is where I am now. I deeply believe that we have the power in Oakland to create the kinds of conditions that we want for all of our children, for all of the children in Oakland, regardless of zip code, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of any demographic identifier. We can create the kinds of conditions where our children are healthy, happy, academically and socially successful. And it's going to take all of us behaving and being different. So the conversation that we had then was specifically in response to some of these bullets. I was saying that I was going to be coming in and doing a lot of listening and engaging with people, and I've been doing that. I will tell you that one of the things that I learned pretty quick was that many people, both inside and outside of Oakland, did not know that Oakland Unified School District was the most improved large urban district in California over the last 5 years. Are there people, everybody knows that, right? So part of what I've been doing is being a champion and a storyteller for the good work that's been going on, that many of you have been responsible for. That your leadership, your work, your commitment over time has produced some of the most extraordinary results for children. The school design work, the creation of new small schools, redesigned schools, engaging early morning programs, before school programs, after school programs. The kind of community organizing that's happened is uncommon and has had extraordinary effect. And that's still, people don't necessarily, that story doesn't come easy to people's lips. That story gets kind of pushed aside as soon as we start talking about the youth violence. As soon as we start talking about the ways in which Oakland remains divided by race and class, is still a place where politics get in the way of really taking personal responsibility for things we care about and building alliances. I will tell you, though, that in the time that I've been in the superintendent chair, I have only come to believe more in the possibility of us. And it's going to kind of be a reoccurring theme that I talk about and share and give some concrete examples. And being in schools with young people, when they are now telling me that their hopes and visions, and I talk with teachers, and they are excited about the possibility inside of schools, and even in the context of some of the worst budget cuts in California history, right? Since the Depression, the first deepest real dollar cut to education now since the Depression. So we're seeing a reduction in funding to schools and children that is basically unprecedented. And we have to figure out now how to be the kind of community that cares for all of our children, because what we know is the kids who are in most distress are most affected by these cuts. The children and families who have the least resource are most hurt when we cut support to schools, that we reduce the number of adults inside those schools. We have very, very school-dependent children in some of our neighborhoods, and increasingly school-dependent families on the connections, the resources that are inside schools. And some of you now have gotten used to me talking about this. I think we are at a point in time when not only do we have school-dependent children, I think we have a district-dependent city. I think we have to begin imagining and thinking about Oakland Unified School District as a full-service community district, as a place of connection, a place of healing, a place of rethinking and reimagining the future of Oakland. That we have to create the conditions for a shared single vision for healthy, happy, connected youth, and the kind of support conditions for families. I think that includes not only high-quality education in every neighborhood, but high-quality housing, access to really affordable housing in every neighborhood, that we need to make sure that health care is sufficient and high-quality health care is accessible. And then workforce development. But where is a place that we can have that conversation? You can have it in the municipality, but the place that you can actually bring all of those conversations together is with families, with caregivers, inside of our schools. Another thing that people probably have heard me talk about a lot is we have assets. I think that people also have gotten used to diminishing and talking about all the negatives about Oakland Unified School District. So not only do we have this extraordinary academic progress, we also hold more than 500 acres. This community has purchased over time 500 acres in the city of Oakland. We have more than 100 facilities, 100 school buildings, bricks and mortar. We have more than 5,000 employees. We have incredible assets to be turned towards the common and public good, which hasn't been done that way. I mean, so we have to reimagine what a school district can be, and that's really, if the gains that we're seeing hadn't been made, I'd be having a different conversation. If there weren't the kind of organizations, community-based organizations, the kind of connections, the legacy of organizing, the generations really of leadership that we have in Oakland. I had an amazing morning with Ralph Smith, who's the Executive Vice President of the Annie E. Casey Foundation, talking today in my office about their commitment to Oakland going forward and the excitement that he has about our ability to create this broader community framework and for us to start articulating this vision of community development work through high-quality education and not just test scores, but rethinking the public school as a place of community healing and community transformation. And he said a couple of things that have really stuck with me today. That they're making a commitment to two generations of giving. That to interrupt the cycles of poverty and oppression that they see, they now believe fundamentally that they have to make a two-generation commitment. And as we're talking about this and having this exchange, he said he was with Warren Buffett last week. And as you know, he and I were kind of grooving on each other, talking about this stuff. It's like, yeah, we talk about it, and people are like, that's neat. Warren Buffett talks about it, and people say, that's brilliant. And so Warren Buffett is now saying that this idea of place-based, deep investment, purpose-based communities is what's going to really turn the tide in terms of American economy, our well-being, and democracy. And so you can imagine he was pretty excited, and I was pretty excited when he said Warren's looking for places to invest. And I think what we have to talk about is that this moment for us is everybody kind of has these individual conversations about the whole child, wouldn't it be great if? It's time to start organizing. It's time to start organizing around our vision for children's success, their happiness. I mean, I get asked this question about, you know, when I was in San Francisco, led some work there about creating places where joyful learning was happening, where we would create the conditions for children to be joyful. But what does that look like? Isn't that too touchy-feely? But you know what? When you're in schools and you witness joyful learning, you want to stay there. And if you've been in and around schools for a while, those are the classrooms where you start to linger. You're like, I don't really want to go. So what does it take for us in the city of Oakland to fundamentally get over some of the history of No Child Left Behind, some of the requirements of the testing, but come together and say, here's what we want our children to know and be able to do. Here's what it looks like when they are healthy, happy, connected, engaged. But that shouldn't be that shouldn't be my conversation. I shouldn't define that and tell you. It shouldn't be a union-based conversation. It shouldn't just simply be parents by themselves and then they come forward. This is an opportunity for us to create a different kind of dialogue about Oakland's commitment to joyful, high-quality education. And then, what are we going to do to ensure that that's true for every child?